Welcome back to Suladan Plays Dark Souls 3. Last time, we dealt with the Half-Light. This time, I don't know. Let's find out.
Design-wise, and again, I have not tried the actual NPC version, but I don't enjoy fighting PvP in Dark Souls, generally. Depending especially on which game. In Dark Souls 3, I've heard that the PvP is just kind of nonsensical. Everybody spam roll, everybody spam roll. Dark Souls 2 had pretty decent PvP. There was just such a wide variety of weapons that were viable, so it worked in its favor. Dark Souls 1, I generally thought it worked pretty well, aside from the rare instances of somebody using like a hacked weapon that parasite cursed you, in which case that was just annoying, or that one guy that invaded me with infinite health. The most offending thing about him, though, I was winning the fight, I got him down to low health, and then suddenly his health just jumped right back to full. He stood there, let me attack him a bit just to show, hey, I have infinite health now, and then he one-shot killed me. All the status effect bars filled up. It did the blood, poison, toxic, etc. And then cursed and parasited me. And it's just like, you know, you weren't doing this just for fun. You weren't being like that guy that does the Dark Souls 3, whose name eludes me. I'm bad with names. That does it to see how people react, you know, stream sniping and all. You had those hacks just sitting there just in case you lost. I mean, it's that sore loser type that it's just really sad. How much does it take for me to level up? 56? I have 99, so I need like 115 or so. It's just the fact of when you've got somebody that's using it because they're a sore loser. That's pitiful, not pitiable. Okay, I'm gonna mute you because I don't like you praying in my ear while I'm trying to do things. No, don't cancel it. Yes. Now I can unmute you. Isn't that wonderful? It's just generally, there's, you know, different types of hackers. Different people doing it for different reasons. You know, if I was to do it, it would be more to just mess around. Like, I thought once about it'd be fun to invade people, but not attack them, to just follow them around and be funny. Like that one guy in Dark Souls 2 that I still remember that glorious day. That was beautiful. You know, stuff like that is funny. Anyway, I feel like the boss fight, the offline version of the boss fight, this critique is in no way reflective of the online version, because again, he attempts to summon people in, there's a covenant, whatever he called that person, the spear of the church, that's a covenant. And it's kind of like the bell gargoyles. He would summon the painted guardian, then a player, and then the boss fight would go pretty much the same, I think. I don't know if the second painted guardian would summon or not for a player, but, you know, that would be, your mileage may vary depending on what player you get. But the NPC version, I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to simulate it. The problem is that the Dark Souls 3 invaders generally have this issue where they're kind of roll happy, which a player would be too, don't get me wrong. But like, you saw me throw 3 of those shivs in a row, and he perfectly rolled every one of them. Which, again, a player could do. It's just not as fun for a boss fight when you've got to deal with that. Combined with my particular weapons were making things hard until I at one point figured out that I could do that and catch him in some things. And if that didn't work, I was going to switch to a spear because the larger range, I think, would have let me kind of, you know, do this. I mean, then there's also the fact that I think you have to two-hand it for that, don't you? I love that. Like, I'm honestly surprised I haven't been using a weapon like that, but, yeah, I just think the fight itself dragged out and felt more like drudgery than a boss fight. To each their own. It just, to me, didn't feel really nice as far as boss fights go. As far as Dark Souls boss fights go. Generally, there's a lot grander things at play than here, have an NPC. I mean, here, have an NPC invader. I mean, all the bosses are NPCs, but you know what I mean. Is that an egg? Ma'am, I think your egg hatched. Or are you sleeping with an egg? Should I be worried? Is that the... Oh dear, that's where that dragon came from, ain't it? Is she dead? Ma'am, are you dead? I'm gonna touch it. Touch it, touch it, touch it. Touch it again? Oh dear, oh dear. Well, ma'am, your egg appears to have decayed. How long have you been sleeping here? Your face seems to be having some things going on. If you open your eyes and you just have pitch black eyes that suck me into the abyss, I'm going to be upset. Hi. I'm Hathead. Who are you? Don't kill me. I didn't mean to break it. I just touched it once. Well, this is where I die, everybody. The light, it burns. Dropped me in the bottom of a hole, didn't she? Or did she vanish? Oh no, I've destroyed everything. Oh, she's been dead for ages. Was I hallucinating all of this? I'm sorry, it's too beautiful of a cutscene for me to keep my... Oh dear, what? Did I time travel, or have I been hallucinating this whole time? I think this is like a Dark Anne Orlando thing. Disturbing her slumber has destroyed everything. Please tell me this is like the halfway point in the DLC and then I get to go explore all sorts of things. I don't know how long this is gonna drag. I don't know how long. I have to. March. Into the... Okay, can't go that way. That disappoints me. Like touching the bonfire would rewind it and suddenly I'd be back to where things were. And this is just ash. Am I back in the ashes of Ariandel? I see that thing hobbling around.
Oh, Eleanor.
Oh, here.
Help me. Please. The Red Hood is come to eat us. To eat our dark souls.
Hi. Now here's a fun question. If I wait here long enough, will he make it up there? Game, don't make me ask questions like this. Now there's a fun question. This whole trail he's left, did he spawn all the way back there and he's been trudging his way up there ever since? Because now I want to watch him. Well, I technically want to just carry him up there, but yeah, I'm not being given that option. His little path is fading. I still see it way out there though, so I don't know what's up with that. You're almost there, buddy. Just keep pushing.
Eleanor, help me. Please.
Well, that was jarring and unexpected. Okay, well. Hope you enjoyed watching that. As much as I stood here and watched. This game better not pull up Borderlands and kill me if I walk out of bounds. You shouldn't have given me an area that I could explore and then said don't. Well, I mean, if you warned me at least. Kinda bugs me, the Borderlands never really goes out of their way to explain that. Or the fact that you're the only character that seems to come back to life via the new use stations. Game mechanics intruding into the game without being explained. Mechanically, I know why there's out-of-bounds areas.
I've searched for thee, dark, stricken creature. I am Shira, daughter of the Duke, descendant of gods, and trusted friend to Medea. At once, I am the honor of the gods, the glory of fire, and the fear of the dark. Thou shalt not go unpunished for thy treachery, thy profanity, and thy shameless yearning.
Can you shut up so we can fight? Okay, well your weapon just screamed at me. Ma'am, I don't think that's normal, and you use annoying lightning. Okay, your weapon does some non-physical damage. Okay, so that bow is a miracle you're using. I mean, that's a miracle. Well, that was funny. Screech. I'll have you know I did 34 whole damage to you with that. Fear me. Fear me, I say. Ow. I don't get why when their weapons hit me it makes a weird spirity whoosh sound. That's supposed to scare me. Creeps me out a little bit, but I don't know what it's doing, so I have no reason to vary. And unlike you, I have infinite lives, so... Aww. I don't like that they can roll out of a backstab. Like, I don't get why enemies have been able to do that. Dark Souls 2 did it too. Stop with the arrow spam. At least what's-his-face used physical arrows. You're just firing lightning bolts. Oh, you are incredibly obnoxious. Oh, you mean that hurts? Good to know. At least you're optional. I need to switch to a shield with better lightning resistance. Kill me, hurry up. Oh, shut up. I'll be back to kill you in a minute. Because dealing with one idiot NPC today wasn't enough. Main reason I don't use the door shield more is when you're one-handing it, there's the giant door on your back, which is slightly annoying. Now get out here, you coward.
I've searched for thee.
Yeah, good to know. I've searched for you too.
I am Shira, daughter of the Duke, descendant of gods, and trusted friend to Mizir. At once, I am the honor of the gods, the glory of fire, and the fear
Yeah,
of
an arrow spammer
Thou
too.
shalt not go unpunished.
Oh yeah, I
For
forgot
thy
that you can't
treachery,
roll dodge
thy
out of that as
profanity,
well.
And thy shameless
You
yearning.
better only be able to do that once. What, are you broken now? Okay, how many Estises do you get? Because this... You Estus faster than me and your health goes up instantly. Oh look, we found one of those attacks that gets the glorious hyper frames that are... That's a whole mechanical discussion. Ugh. Dark Souls 3's... It's hard to say Dark Souls... It's hard to use the possessive tense on Dark Souls games, because they're already plural. Dark Souls 3's. This game's treatment of the poise system is, to be honest... Well, a large section of the fanbase considers it to be stupid, but there are its defenders. I think that it's silly to have a visible stat on the stat screen that is only affected by a few weapons while being two-handed using their R2... L2? R2? L2. R2. Using a certain attack.
Dark-stricken creature. I am Shira.
Because the hyper armor frames are only active during those specific attacks.
Descendant of gods and trusted friend to me.
I don't care.
I am the honor of the gods, the glory of fire, and
You're
the
also
fear of
obnoxious,
the
you
dark.
repeatedly
Thou shalt
Estus,
not
and you
go
apparently have a varying delay on that
treachery,
bowcast.
Thy profanity and thy shameless yearning.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kill you, and if I fail, just mute you from now on, because you're talking, your yammering is a distraction. Coward. Hey, if that's a spell cast, she should not be able to delay its firing. Once it's activated, it better fire. B, the Estusing is annoying. C, the hyper armor frames are obnoxious. Good, I now know I can interrupt that. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I could interrupt it. Really? At least they gave it multiple sound effects.
Remember this.
And you're being muted from now on. Why would you code an NPC to do this? I know I gripe a lot about the NPCs. It is generally one of my least enjoyed parts in Dark Souls 3 thus far. Like, when you got invaded in Dark Souls, they were generally interesting, and they weren't obnoxious to fight. You know, Kirk had his little gimmick. They were generally pretty straightforward fights. Dark Souls 2, they tried to make each one more unique and to do things that players would, like that one really obnoxious guy that would go hide down in the cursed area and generally be a nuisance. You know, clever, annoying, obnoxious, not something people want to deal with, but I gave them credit for being creative. Dark Souls 3 seems to just like making really obnoxious NPC summons for the heck of it.
At once, I am the honor of the gods, the glory of
but
fire,
it's partially because of the whole PvP
dark.
system in Dark Souls 3
Thou
isn't
shalt
as
not
fun
go
as its
unpunished
predecessors due to the
for thy
roll spamming and
treachery,
other
thy
problems.
profanity, and
So
thy
I
shameless yearning.
generally want to avoid it, and as a result, I don't enjoy it as much. And if my understanding is right, when she's got that fog thing going on, that's giving her more poise. I think that might be the missing thing at play here. Dude, fight me.
Remember this, creature, ne'er will I forgive.
How many
thee.
Estuses does she get? I'd love to know that. Because getting her down low on health, watching it go back, getting her down low on health again, watching it go back, this back and forth is ironically one of the reasons that people don't like healers in PvP games, but it just reminds me of a post I read ages back about people that are upset about healers. At the time it was in League of Legends, and I believe Battle Right was another one that I read a post about it on, but generally players don't like watching enemies heal. And when it's in player versus player, it irks them even more. But no, I just generally don't like this NPC. Either of the NPCs I've dealt with today. My patience is already low because of him. I don't like that I keep having to mute the game because we have bosses,
I've searched
enemies,
for thee,
characters that
dark,
want to
stricken
yammer
creature. I am
on
Shira,
and on.
daughter of
Partly
the
a problem
Duke,
because it makes dodging some of her
descendant
attacks
gods,
harder, but
and
when I have to
trusted
keep it
friend to
muted,
Medea. At once, I am
I
the
also
honor
don't
of
like
the
that she
gods,
can
the
delay
glory
her
of fire,
arrow
and the fear
firing.
of the dark. Thou shalt not go unpunished for thy treachery, thy profanity, and thy shameless yearning.
Yeah. Also, having to stop to mute and unmute is slightly annoying, but you know, I could use Lloyd's talismans, I guess. There do seem to be two distinct amounts of time that her arrow firing can take. If it's not the short one, it takes a distinct amount of time. I don't like that she has so much hyper armor. I don't like that she goes from being staggered. Okay. I don't like that she goes from being staggerable to unstaggerable. I don't like that stupid delay on her arrows. This is annoying. Yay, I get to just stand at a distance and play dodge the arrow. Endlessly. Who designed you? What did a person do to hurt you, designer of this enemy? Because you're clearly working through some trauma. Yeah, now I get it. When she's got that going on, she doesn't stagger. Which would be fine if not for the fact that, you know, she can heal so much. She really drains the stamina with that. That weapon is really good at draining stamina. Gotcha. Die.
Never would I ever forgive thy lowly
I don't care. What makes you think I need your forgiveness? How many items did you... I didn't know you could drop multiple items, and why not just pick them all up at once? I don't know, maybe for effect. That's an odd thing. I really have to question, why would you think that I need your forgiveness? Oh, cool, that's a chime. Oh, no, she did have a chime in her other hand. So where's the other weapon she dropped? Come on. Should be with the clubs, wouldn't it? Cross spear hung with a malformed corpse. Briefly awaken it, fillet of strong attack to trigger a roar, a blessing, or a vexation. Ah. Oh, I guess it did have a description of the item on it. Cross spear hung with a malformed corpse. Once a Mad King was born to the Pygmy royalty, and Shira, Knight of Philinor, put him to rest, but Shira's cross spear, unable to kill the Undying King, only pinned itself to him. Shira delivered them together to a dark room where she stayed and held them close. Okay, but seriously, what is with these NPCs? I feel like somebody is, just trying to make obnoxious fights. I get they might be running out of ideas at this point. But at least she's dead. But yes, what is with this weird fixation? People think that they have to get forgiveness from other people. If you apologize and they don't forgive you, you've done your part. What do you care what they do past that? If they want to hold a grudge, they ain't hurting nobody but themselves. I mean, literally, you are not hurting the person that you're holding a grudge against. You are just keeping that rot inside of you and, hurting yourself. What's that supposed to do to the other person? That person over there that you hate, what good is it doing you to hate them? It's not hurting them, and in most cases, the person probably doesn't know it. People are a lot more oblivious than other people give them credit for. You can sit there and bottle all that hate up all you want, but the other person likely doesn't know, doesn't care, or literally just has no inkling that the hate is there. Quote I love to use is hatred is far too strong of an emotion to waste on somebody you don't like. I don't remember who said that, I just know it's a quote. And that I didn't say it, I'm not quoting me. I mean, I have said it, but there was somebody that said it before me, and that's where I got it from, and therefore it is a quote from them. I kind of regret wandering out here. Well, I mean, I got some fun weapons and stuff, but ugh. My main complaint is, what's with all the chatty NPCs? I don't need to hear that every time. I mean, and this isn't the first one. There was that other guy, I think, in the Painted World that did it too. I didn't ask for an... I'm in the middle of a monologue, thank you. Wait, Thrones. Am I in the starting zone of the game just millennia later? Oh great, he's back. Didn't you die? I watched you. You screeched at me and then just faded into mist. You're gonna surround the whole area in a fog wall and the fog dome and tell me I can't leave? Well, I thought that was a pulsating mass of flesh for a moment. Dude, I ain't fighting a boss right now. I just got here. You look elsewhere. I ain't dealing with you.
Still here.
Oh, you're talking to him.
Hand it over, that thing, your dark soul.
Oh, you're the Red Hood the guy was talking about.
For my lady's painting.
I'm pulling an Artorias now. I don't want to I ain't dealing with you. Hi. Okay, I don't care. So close. But seriously, what is with all the bosses? And what is with all the references to the Abyss if you're not going to let me go to the Abyss? Oh, this whole area is now... This is insulting. Dude, I ain't dealing with you. I mean, I love the idea of a massive boss arena like this, don't get me wrong. I don't like having to figure out where on earth my bloodstain is, though. Okay, see, I came over here. I came over this ledge. Oh, there it is. Gotta be sure not to let my stamina run out. Because then I won't be able to run again until it fully charges. Dude, whatever your name is, I didn't come here for you. Goodness. I ain't dealing with y'all. Already fought one boss today. Ain't dealing with others.
Ah, just good, wasn't he?
Just checking to see if I have anything that can be done. Okay, those use Twinkling Titanite. Oh, I would be tempted. Don't get me wrong. Hey, I can finally see what damage that. Okay, I was doing dark damage. I don't want to upgrade that just yet. Then I could upgrade that. Apparently not. Since I do use that weapon often enough, I'm gonna hang on.
Be careful, I go that.
Since I saw I had 2 Titanite slabs, I figured I could use one and hang on to the other. But yeah, overly chatty NPCs or fights that you have to listen to every time you fight them are generally something that players frown upon. It's annoying, it's obnoxious. Slightly more so when you've got to listen to them rant at you during a fight when you need to be listening for other audio cues. You know, a cutscene, I can divert my attention elsewhere. It's very annoying when you have an unskippable cutscene that you have to watch before every boss fight, but the just overall, it's I don't think that the Half-Light fight was very well thought out. In terms of it just being obnoxious, but again, I will give it credit that it is very possible that it's due to my weapon choice. I do think a spear or a bow and arrow, well, he probably would have roll dodged out of that easily, but the spear would have probably worked really well. And the other invader lady was just obnoxious. If I completely ignore her starting speech, that fight wouldn't have been as bothersome. Still annoys me about the different delay on the arrow fire, but that one's just more of a personal meh. But yeah, the rant at the start was the most annoying part of having to listen to every time. Or risk getting hit to reach over to the mute button, since I think I have a mute button on my keyboard. But yeah, I do look forward to this next boss fight though, and I really like the idea of the large boss arena, but I hope there's more to this DLC and that that's not the final boss, because I really would like to see, you know, actually get down into the Abyss and do things. I always love going to the Abyss, and if you're gonna have a DLC that hints at it so much, you better follow through with all that hinting. And yes, I have the phone in my hand for some reason. Any case, I'm gonna go ahead and pause here. I will see you next time.